No team has ever won 4 games in 4 days to take a Southern Conference men's basketball championship. That's the task for the Samford Bulldogs, the 7 seed. They're trying to get win number 3 on a push for a title, taking on the number 3 seed ETSU Bucks in our second semifinal game on this Sunday here in Asheville, North Carolina, at the U.S. Cellular Center. Hi, everybody. Welcome back in with Dean Keener, Pete Hannity with you. We just saw a thriller in the first semifinal game, UNCG, the number 1 seed, outlasting the Wofford Terriers. Here we go with Samford and ETSU. Third meeting this year between these two teams. ETSU won them both, but by 2 points against Samford in one of the games and double overtime for the other.
You are exactly right, my friend. And to your point, if there was ever a team that could win 4 in a row, it's Scott Padgett's Samford Bulldogs. They are on a roll. He has done a really nice job instilling a positive belief among all within the program. But first things first, they got to deal with the Bucks for ETSU.
Scott Padgett drawing up the game plan. Let's give you ours with our building blocks of the game presented by General Shale.
You know, right to your point, you talked about it. They've got to remember the formula, Samford. They've been close in both games, and in the second one up at Freedom Hall in Johnson City, they did it without Wyatt Walker. For ETSU, they've got to keep the defense at a high level. They defended not really well, extremely well against Mercer in last night's victory, especially in the second half.
ETSU, a team that's done some great winning these past 2 years, and they come into this ball game with a 25-7 record, but the Samford Bulldogs with a victory, well, they would get to 20 wins on the season. They were a team that struggled down the stretch in the regular campaign, but after losing 6 out of 8, they've won 2 straight. And the opening tip going to ETSU.
Don't think ETSU doesn't know that they've been in a dogfight, no pun intended, against the Samford Bulldogs in both affairs. Now that may work to their advantage where they're laser focused.
And early on, a guy who can stroke them all night long, just like that, TJ Cromer, best scorer in the league, 18.6 a game for the senior out of Albany, Georgia. And he had a 27-point outing in one of the games against Samford this year and 16 in the other. Driving inside, pulling up, little spin, and a knockdown by Demetrius Denzel Dyson, the UMass transfer, who had just 8 points against Furman last night and had just 4 points combined in the 2 meetings between these 2 clubs this season.
You're right. You've got to give them a lot of credit for their performance last night.
And Cromer, if he stays on this pace, going to be a long night for the opposition. Something about that red that gets Cromer going with the 43 combined points in 2 games coming in, and out of the gate here he's got 6 and a couple of threes. Nice work inside down low by the guard Cunningham.
Nice elevation and use of the other side of the rim by Cunningham, or Bradford would have blocked that.
Back at the U.S. Cellular Center here in Asheville, North Carolina, the arena, the city, again, great host for the Southern Conference tournament. Early on, a 5-point lead for ETSU against the Samford Bulldogs. A Bulldogs team trying to avoid being swept by ETSU this year, but keep in mind, Wyatt Walker, fine sophomore center for Samford, played in the first game. He had a double-double. In the second game, another close loss by the Bulldogs against ETSU. He didn't play. Maybe that's the X factor tonight for a Samford upset.
I think that certainly is something that's worth watching. The highly skilled sophomore had 14 double-doubles on the season, as you mentioned, didn't play up there in a 2-point game. Clearly that's something that Samford talked about last night after the victory, and I'm sure ETSU and Steve Forbes kind of put that in the guy's mind as well.
And ETSU is shown to be so dynamic in this season, in which they're having great numbers all around and a very versatile team, and last night they adjusted to being down early by 13 against Mercer and then eventually went on to the win. Let's get more. Here's the third member of our broadcast crew, Meg Slogan. Meg?
Well, after Samford's victory last night, the work of their strength coach, John Ferris, had just begun. Every night after they have a game, he makes custom shakes for each of them. That means all guys on the roster, 14 guys, 14 custom shakes. On top of that, they have a very strict routine where they have those shakes he makes. They also have cherry juice, Powerade, and specific snacks for each player. On top of that, when they're looking to win 4 games in 4 days, the sometimes unnoticed work of Ferris is absolutely vital, and the coaching staff has talked about they really appreciate that.
You know something, Scott Padgett, a Rick Pitino disciple, and that he played under him, that sounds like the kind of innovative thing. Rick Pitino, back in the 90s, came up with a lot of ideas on a beautiful backdoor play, but it won't go down for the Bulldogs' Denzel Dyson. Here's Sharkey, the step, looks to feed, lost the handle. Here's a scramble for the ball, and eventually Burrell comes away with it. Cromer, one dribble, fires, got it. TJ Cromer, Scott Padgett's seen enough. 14 points for him, just 6 for the opponent, and a 16-point lead for the ETSU Bucks. They were last year's runner-up, but frankly last night when they overcame an early 13-point deficit, they looked like they had shifted all the way into 5th gear, and maybe tomorrow night when they face UNCG, if this holds up, they'll be the team that should be the one considered the team to beat.
I think you're right. I mean, we're going to talk about Cromer here. I mean, he's got 14 points, and he's doing it from behind the arc. He's got 1 pull-up shot. Let me tell you something. It's also the ETSU defense. As much as these highlights spell out why they're up 22-6, collectively, their team defense, they are focused. They are taking away passing lanes. They're quick to rebound. ETSU picked up right where they left off last night, guarding Mercer, holding to 27% in the second half.
Oh, A.J. Merriweather. I don't know if he got angry during the timeout, but he just took it out on that basket.
Got a feeling we might revisit that play later in the game for the Geico play of the game. Right. I don't know that it was so much they were losing energy. I think that Samford was gaining some, and he wants to try to put this thing away as best he can in the first half.
Cross-court pass, Cromer having an unbelievable first half, and it continues. They value their defense and how much they make other teams uncomfortable. Less than 10 to go in the half. Cunningham way out high, so little pump fake on Long. It'll be Thompson with a long 3, and he beats the buzzer with that. And in what was a near disastrous first half for the Samford Bulldogs, Alex Thompson at least keeps them somewhere in the neighborhood of their opponent tonight, ETSU. Number 3 seed ETSU, the Bucks trying to get the program's 6th all-time SoCon tourney title. And here in our second semifinal game, they're up 13 at the half. Welcome back to Asheville, North Carolina. Pete Hannity, Dean Keener with you. ETSU, Steve Forbes, when he was talking to Meg moments ago, just seemed very matter-of-fact. This team played great on both ends of the floor. However, the strangest things can turn momentum in ball games, and at least Samford, which is down by nearly 20, is somewhat in this thing.
Well, right there when that technical occurred by Scott Padgett, I think that fired his team up, and your point, it can have an effect in a positive way many times. 11-10 advantage Samford down the stretch after that technical.
Now, the way ETSU plays defensively, they make you feel uncomfortable. They kept denying entry passes inside, either to Wyatt Walker or others who were camped out low for Samford. Scott Padgett's going to have to go to work at halftime to figure out how they can get more effective flow, because a team that likes to shoot threes needs to be a threat inside first.
They got to go inside out, and you're exactly right. And I thought Steve Forbes said it best, the attention to detail by his team. You can tell they were locked in from the tip, and it showed in their defense across the board.
Well, several of his players are only in their 1st or 2nd year in the program, but they're older players playing their 3rd or 4th year of college basketball. You see it in their swagger. This is a very experienced team, even though they've only been together in some cases just this year.
Yeah, but you know, again, credit Forbes and his staff. The years he spent at junior college is what you had to do. You had to mesh 1- and 2-year players together, and he's now doing it at the Division I level.
Well, Samford Bulldogs going to take some kind of comeback for them in the second half. If they get a win, it'll be their 20th of the season, and for the first time since 2009, we would have 4 teams in the SoCon with at least 20 wins. But ETSU showing right now they might be the team to beat to win it all here in Asheville. Alex Thompson doing his part to keep Samford in the game. We're back in a moment. 16-point game. Drive inside. Get out of the way, says David Burrell. How high did he go?
Oh my goodness. Hold on that Geico play of the game by A.J. Merriweather. Burrell, they don't have plays like that in a video game.
And every time I watch him play, I like him even more, and he's adding to his offensive game. Walker, Denzel Dyson, Cunningham. 28 points for the junior. Timeout, Scott Padgett. The Bucks are making as much noise right now as they have all night. Really nice turnout on a Sunday evening here in Asheville. And the ETSU Bucks are headed to the SoCon Tournament Championship game for a 2nd straight year. They will play the UNCG Spartans tomorrow night. It'll be a battle of teams that on the season have combined for more than 50 wins. UNCG will be going for its first SoCon title since 2000, and it's been a long time since ETSU won the SoCon tournament. Not as long, but still, they would love to bring another championship, which would be the 6th for the program, back to Johnson City. And based on how we saw UNCG play throughout the year, and to get their win tonight against Wofford to advance, and how ETSU played, that is going to be an absolute barn burner, and there you go. Granted, they're the 1 and the 3 seeds, but they're 2 of the 3 teams that tied for first to end the year. And ETSU, their run this season, it began when they served notice by putting up over 100 against an Atlantic 10 team, Fordham, not one of the great teams in the land, but still a great win for them. And they served notice in their opener. In fact, they had back-to-back high-scoring games, right up there around 100 points their first 2, and they have been rocking and rolling since. Meg Slaga talking with the victorious head coach, Steve Forbes.
Coach, at the half, you talked about attention to detail. How pleased were you with how well your team did that?
I thought we came out in the second half and did set the tone, but I didn't like the way we finished the game, and give a lot of credit to Samford. They pressed us, we turned it over, didn't make very good decisions, but we had a good enough lead that, thanks to TJ Cromer, that we were able to win the game.
You're facing UNCG tomorrow, and you dropped both to them. What kind of motivation does that provide for tomorrow?
They have a great team. Both games were really close. I have a lot of respect for their team and their coach, so I know it'll be a hard-fought battle, but we'll be ready to play. That's what we signed up for, is get to the championship game, so we'll be ready to play.
Coach, congratulations.
Thanks, Meg. Last Monday, UNCG and ETSU met in Greensboro with the #1 seed in the league and technically the league championship on the line for a second straight Monday. They will meet with very high stakes at hand, playing for the SoCon Tournament Championship.
Well, fantastic individual performance by TJ Cromer, a fantastic team performance by ETSU. Great night of basketball. It'll be even better tomorrow with the prize at stake.
ETSU at 26-7. Samford Bulldogs finish at 19-15 here in Asheville. It was the TJ Cromer show. 41 points tonight for the senior guard. He and the Bucks are 1 win away from going dancing. Dean Keener, as always, a pleasure all year long and here in the tournament. Likewise to Meg Sloggett, on behalf of Dean and Meg, Pete Hannity saying so long from here in Asheville, North Carolina.